Ever he's yet to frag. He is the #1 in the tournament as far as opening kills go on the T side of Mirage. So he is going to be a factor here for them in success.
So not only is he the best on this side of this map, he's now on his first grand final stage at 19 years of age and currently yet to frag. Tessa
changes.
Cadian about to make a lot of impact on this rush. They're throwing bodies into the B site and Cadian's just swatting them away like pesky mosquitoes. Get out. Only one. James in his Kevlar vest going to do his Kevlar best, but we got a fourth, or rather a third.
And a clean one, all right? That's the difference. Now, they were given that opportunity by the virtue of the BINE. Well, funny this, outsiders haven't gotten away with any saves just yet. So that is also going to be a key factor here with some of these details. When you talk to the players, right, I've had the opportunity to talk to several pros over the last couple of days. I was talking to Magic from Spirit today. I got to speak to Mezzi and Fasha yesterday from Fnatic, right? And I got to pick their brain about, you know, outsiders, James, and they're talking about ghost orbs. You never know where James is going to be with the AWP, but the assumption has to be he's somewhere, and that makes things extremely difficult. And again, it's another risky maneuver from Heroic here, keeping this proactive form. They have two players searching towards a ramp. The B-bomb site was very light on earlier. It's just Tessus, but Cadian's here. But is he here in time? In the first shot, he spotted the cross. One down on the Fame.
5 deaths, 0 contributions. This time handed his ass by Cadian. And they cancel plans. Cadian just rips up that game plan. Says, try again. Try something else. But that is definitely something to keep an eye on in terms of the opener being the opening death. Outsiders maybe missing a component, at least initially.
Well, Norbert is looking exactly like we'd expect Norbert to, right? You see how nonchalant he seems in these interviews. We're just playing our game. James is calling our game. It's like we do in practice. And that's where you want to set your consistent bar, which is something outsiders have for them. But this is the very early stages here. Now, the question is, are Heroic going to be able to break away from the pack? And when we find ourselves in these scenarios right now, right, we got 50 seconds left on the clock, you're thinking, okay, well, they're just going to sit back, but they always go fishing. There's always a little bit of a look in case something happens.
Every round, when it looks like outsiders are down and out, they do seem to make a round out of it. Knocking on Shush's door. Yabi as well. Little less experience on this side of the site, especially on a grand final fight. Yabi dancing with Flit. He's been a very imposing presence. James trying to chip away further as well. Shush has not moved. Look at this. The restraint on him leads to a frag. Should be 2. And that's the round locked in for Heroic. But you can see, this is another example. Outsiders will make you work for everything. You cannot relax.
It has to be a part of their gameplay as well, because they're so prevalent with the saving here, that if you lost those 2 opening kills, as they did in the first 20 seconds of the round, you can not just go back to spawn and wait, because they will eventually find out there's no sound, there's nothing across the map, and then they will hunt you. But you need to stay somewhat puffed up, right? In a position where if you do get that kill, as the fight comes your way, if they do come aggressive, you can capitalize. And if you don't, well, then you can save in your safe haven that you've been able to buy yourself.
Is it fair to say as well that teams are not very good at getting information safely? More than, like, at a higher level than we've ever seen.
We've got the jiggle peaks, obviously we have jump spotting, there's different boosts, using that utility, right? There's a whole lot of different ways, and teams know that once you strafe out for that fight, you don't have to be committed to it. As I said earlier, information is power. Use your teammates. It is a team game here, and we do have a hero AK in the hands of Fame right now.
They're trying to activate him. Just trying to get the sleep out of his eyes and get him with his eyes on the prize. Yabi forward position. Who's responsible for underpass? That's down. You've got a 3-man setup here in mid. Now, Shush will be on the jiggle. Kicker's gone walking and spots him. Surely that alerts outsiders there's likely going to be bodies in mid, and they are still coming. Forward position. Yabi aware and now noted. Fame to activate. Down. That was his responsibility, but Fame with that hero AK does hero things. If he could just get another, Fame announces his presence in glory and bloodshed. Cadian tested on window. Tessa's tucks and turns tail. Actually dunks on Fame. That's a big nade from the Dane. Bomb on the back of James. Cadian at the disadvantage. Or posted, and that smoke won't last forever. He has got that Tech 9 in order to facilitate any close combat he's required for. Heroic have really strung out. Flit straight to the head of Shush, and this now falls apart for the Danish defense. There is an open plant, knocks him off it, delays, but James will get it down regardless.
Yeah, it looks like Cadian's trying to back off and save here, but Norbert over towards this window room. You might be able to unravel this. If any sound cues are made, can relay that information, and Norbert just patrolling. He doesn't need to strike until they overstep, and Tessus has done just that.
Yeah, he's overstepped. And now could go down. Cadian, ooh, careful now, Cadian with his orb on his back. Tessus trying to bodyguard the leader. Does so with some parkour of his own and will get away.
Okay, well, that should be it right now. And that was one AK, a couple of upgraded pistols. Fame, we were just talking about him, and he's that impact, and he's able to deliver here with not one, but 2 kills to open up round number 8. So massive work for the 19-year-old. I said first major grand final. You talk about, hey, it's another day at the office. There's obviously pressure. I love the way the Des surmised this. This isn't like any other game. This is your opportunity to win a major grand final and join the elite. It's our World Cup. This is the tippy top of our mountain right here. This is every Counter-Strike player's dream. This is, if you're a completionist, the end.
Yeah, I feel something tells me James is. You know, everyone speaks so highly. Your kinder cannot stop talking about the way James sees. He thinks he's the smartest player he's ever played with and ever will play with. I mean, that is high praise from a player that we obviously and
Nu merge, mă, nu merge, nu merge. Sunt foarte mulți youtuberi care sunt live-ul ăsta cu așa ceva și canalul e prea mic ca să practice, să am persoane, dar mai stau un pic, hai și după aia vedem. Poate vin să ne uităm la ceva.
You know, almost one-to-one. Counter-Strike is very human.
Yeah, for sure. I think this, you know, at the end of the day, this is a competition, so you need to have that ego to some degree. Right. To know that you're going to battle because you want to beat the 5 individuals on the other side of the server. You want to prove that you are the absolute best. But if you have, as you mentioned, that arrogance right there and you overstep the mark, you start taking too many risks, it will come back to bite you in the ass with these details that we're trying to define here today.
All right, well, everyone's got the zoom banger. James and Cadian with their signature weapons. Let's see what round 9 has. Oops, in store, missed Molly. Cadian, open the account for Heroic, at least firing off the shot. No damage inflicted. Flit, just a bit of chip damage. Back of the box, down to half. Fame tries his luck on the same move, and it's stagnate again. Heroic, draw blood with shrapnel alone. Down, can extend that lovely dink. Obscured view, but Fame still holds his nerve. And now Cadian for the finish. Oh, it cost him his life. That was a little arrogant. Goes for the finish. He was just so hungry for it. Didn't consider the James position.
This is the info game again. A-ramp, nobody. They've actually given up the gap to kick it, who is starting to come back around. Shush might get caught by a timing here in the 2 of these. They've had some awkward timing so far. Kickett's very aware, so is James, and this should be a pantsing right here. The A-bomb site is open for business.
Brilliant play. Fame again, going to get some credit. James too.
So much utility as well. They can smoke towards spawn if they'd really like. Right, Norbert has the power position over towards jungle. Still got flashes, Molly's in play. Yabby on the flank as well again.
Le-am deschis pe ultimele câteva câteva zile.
Flanking the flankers who flanked. Yabby, how has he got this gap? Both there! Both there!
Oh, ce timing pe Yabby ăsta, ești nebun? 2v1. Au ce utilități, n-au nimic de cărat. 10 viață, Norbert.
One to the head.
He's sitting it. He's sitting it.
He is holding it. Oh, and he doesn't expect it.
Caught the block.
Nu se poate așa ceva.
Around Yabby and Tesses with their powers combined will make a 5th round reality.
Oh, okay. That's exactly what Yabby was brought in this team for. Replacing Refresh, brought in as the X-Factor. The around the world, this didn't seem possible, right? Traditionally, when that kill comes in, I said the side, they had it. It was open for business, but not accounting for this. James normally ready for everything.
And that's what I was going to say. How rare is that? James not looking the right way? I don't see him caught out often.
That's the 2B defenders as well, but here comes the aggression. They might be feeling a little bit rumbled right now, and Stown trying to give him a little bit more. Chips away at the toes. Flit knocked down slightly. They will relinquish control of that boost. So information going both ways here. But Heroic, they've seen enough. They're dropping back now, and let's see where else on the map they want to continue this proactive nature. Back to isolate the A defender. It's normally just kick it here on the default, but Norbert as well.
And Norbert's just been a real safe pair of hands. I don't know if I'd want to trifle with him early. Oh, but Shush does. Successful. Onto the ramp presence.
He caught both there, but look at this. There's no reaction from outsiders. They haven't started pushing anywhere across the map. They're still just defaulting through. Fame and Flit. They're not broken. Tessus dropping back to support Cadian's AWP, who is somewhat out of the play here.
It's always fun to watch how outsiders dig themselves out of trouble.
Well, they have to rumble Stown and Shush on A. It looks likely as the bomb's starting to come up the ramp. A connector smoke, well timed.
Kick it on the crawl. Now, Shush will be exposed.
Spotted, kick it. Laser vision.
Free headshot there. Shush caught out, but he does survive long enough for Stown, at least to shut him down. Outsiders still making a very imposing presence up the stairs. Nice angle through the smoke. One and done. Fame to trade. 2 on 2. Very high stakes game.
Mamă,
The bomb is being planted. The pot shot to bait Yabi to crawl. I don't think they got the info on the walk through. Timing good. Damage better. Straight through the triple box. Getting Yabi a problem. Newest addition and absolutely unfazed by the state of play. Now they got a smoke.
Nu trebuie să facă pic asta.
There is one there you see on Shush's corpse. Actually one right in front of them. You can see that through the X-ray. Time sensitive mission. Kit picked up. Oh, spots them both. Eliminates one. Fame holding his nerve in his first major. Never mind the grand final.
He's lost
Nu știe de unde a tras.
Lost him. Fame evaporates the invisible man. Clutching up for the outside.
Deci nu pot să cred așa ceva.
Precision. That's nuts. It looked like heroics round all the way until it wasn't.
Well, he's opening and closing them now. That is fantastic from Fame here. Comfy stuff. I remember tuning into this kid's stream. He was in a battle for the highest elo in Face It, right? Going toe-to-toe with some of the other big names of the world, and just watching him on this map specifically, his aim is out of control. He loves hitting the heads right here, and, well, he puts on a show with two of those.
You can see it. Dude,
that's a big round.
Robotic.
And that's just after the Yabi round happened, right? With that flank coming through. So that's a statement. The back and the forth nature of this is really good as we find ourselves at 5-5. And Cadian, he was just scrambling. He was just trying to get out of dodge. I cannot believe they lost the positioning of Fame right there. So that is massive stuff from the young gun.
No silencer on that AK. And that one might get under your skin a little bit. You feel like you misplayed it. You do have to shake it off. Taylor Swift was right. But a very competitive first map. This is promising.
I like the little details in a round like that as well. You know, that connector smoke lands. I say good timing because you're expecting them to start limping up through connector and then go on either side of it. But that's as they crept out the ramp. So it drew attention. It did the job, and it enabled them to go from a 4v5 disadvantage situation into a, well, 1v2 clutch. And here's the push again.
They're looking for gaps. Heroic. They will exploit your weakness.
They're just going to walk out Palace.
Why not? Kick it, just dry. You're not going to be ready for this. If you're sure, you're just holding a nade in your hand, and now, yeah, it's down, desperately trying to bail his teammate out of trouble. Too late. Norbert makes it permanent. Shush forced to watch. Very light on nades. Down needs to find headshots and has done so onto Flit. James still a problem. Onto Cadian. Limited resources for Heroic to defend now as outsiders look to take a leg up and a lead to 6. Flash will be eaten.
Tess is on a flank here, so...
Yeah, that is a Palace.
Is James being caught up before?
Get out again? He might. He might. He is from behind. Tessas, only the one. It's Fame, long range on the Galil.
Nu trebuia să-l bată pe ăsta, mă, trebuia să-l bată pe altul și îl bătea pe ăsta după. Uite ce trău la runda dată ăsta aici.
I think he's aware of Yabi's likely murder hole advance. Down the one with a bit more freedom, but very hard pressed to make any sort of impact on this round. Header has to be on a swivel. Good damage. Fame doesn't give it. Kick it with contact. That is perfect. Just team play. You know, we talk about it. This is what the desk was spending a lot of time discussing, is that both of these teams are this much greater than the sum of their parts because of their communication, because of their reaction to the information. Now, again, talking of information, James probably going to be checking his flank a bit more throughout this series.
Yeah, he just hasn't expected it to multiplication. Now, lucky it didn't cost him because the kid that we were bringing up not that many rounds ago was 0 and 5. Now he's got himself at 9 kills to his name, so he is back in action, and that's exactly what outsiders need. And the key of a round like that, round number 11, was it's a break round. You could see Heroic, they invested everything and more, whatever they could, the kitchen sink, and now they have nothing. So this is going to be a day where they just run in to kick it.
He's going to have some fun with this one. So from 4 frags, 5, and oh, Tessus, very good use of his USB. Flit just tapping away at the gap, inflicting good damage. Now you should see the outsiders just escort the bomb into B.
Fame might get a few more here.
I think he might. Farming up on Cadian for his 10th. Gonna leap towards the top of the scoreboard here. Shush warded off by the flame.
It is crazy to think that Fame's clutch was the break round, right? Because that was the catalyst for then Heroic to go into a round where they didn't have everything they needed and more. And then you're able to convert what is an easier round. They contacted out towards A. They had very forward positions. They convert that, and now it's the eco. So you can see the flow-on effects of all of these little rounds and the details that all add up.
That's one thing that I think everyone loves about Counter-Strike, is that whatever it is you provide in the round, be it a call, a frag, a multi-kill, a sound cue heard and relayed to your team, it all has an impact in the grand scheme, whether it's economical, whether it's a result, a round. Every single detail can have an effect on that final result. Oh, and
Lambs to a slaughter right there.
Yeah, well, we do see Yabi maintain the only AK. Of course, Kickett lost that after the one, so something to celebrate on an otherwise rather bleak round for the Danes.
I don't think an AWP will be available for Cadian here, so that as the conversation is at least something they'll need to have in their gameplay. But they've been very proactive with these rifles, right? We've seen a couple of times they want to take these fights over towards A. They've done some B pushes as well. Stoun's even had that jaunt up mid where it didn't result in a whole lot, but they want to show themselves first. And I think if you can get a kill or two early against a team like Outsiders and maintain that number advantage, that's when they're more likely to save, right? So it's going to make it a whole lot harder for them to get away with their smoke and mirrors and using that clock against you. So the buys are coming through. I saw Dastan today, saw him in the halls. He looks pretty focused, right? He's not a guy, you don't see him with a smile on the face too often here, but he definitely has some big insights. And we're talking about these teams and what they've been able to build and the sum of all their parts. Well, Dastan, he's been taking care of the other four, while James been able to focus more on himself here, which helps with his in-game leadership and the impact he can have. And as an AWP in-game leader, you have to have impact.
It shows as well, James. Clutch of the tournament so far. One of the many reasons they find themselves in this grand final. Now Fame, down, another name we must mention as he forces the conversation. A double kill forward on mid. Norbert is next victim. Stoun with 3 and dips away. Baits into Tesses. And the whole squad just sent packing. 1 to go. James does hit the first. Somewhat of a crowd favorite, and that's for good reason. But ladies and gentlemen, with 6 grand in the bank, James might be playing the long game.
Yeah, I think so here. The question is, how is he going to save? So at this point, he's boxed in.
It's his favorite game.
And he's been flanked a couple of times, so the likelihood for that is probably trickling through his mind. Yavi and Tesses are closing that door if he wants to head back to pick up the C4. Shush and Stoun to contend with Palace and A-Ramp for now. And this is around where we will just see time sink off the clock. But this is where you have to make the choice of your heroic. We're getting late within this first half. Do you want to throw bodies at this to remove the AWP, where you may lose a couple, right? Because Jamie's definitely been hitting some shots. I know it's only 6 kills, but as you mentioned, this is his favorite game, and one where he would love to inflict some damage. So it might just be a stalemate here for the next 30 seconds or so.
Gives us an opportunity to talk about Mr. Triple Kill. Stoun, young gun, and a bit of a prodigy, a phenom for Danish Counter-Strike. I mean, there is a lot. Anyone that's queuing Face It knows there's a lot of Danish 5 stacks that hurt. But Stoun is king of all of these masters of the mechanics.
Well, this is the thing with Stoun, right? He gets the title attributed to him like Jack of all trades because he can do it all, right? There's a joke that he's the best AWPer in heroic, right? That's a bit of a gag.
I think would even laugh at that one,
right? So Stoun can do it all, right? And in terms of like superstar ascension, he doesn't have that same aura about him. But I think that's also because of this team. Coming into this event, right? He played average Stoun standards within the legend stage, and now in the playoffs, he's finding his form exactly when they need to. So
I can get you